Hey guys, Matty Ice here, and today I'm going to actually be going over something that I'm really excited about. As you might know if you're a Game of Thrones fan, the Game of Thrones Season 8 teaser trailer just dropped, and it was amazing. It gives you a great forebodings to how the series is going to tie up here in this last season, and we get some interesting looks at the Stark family in this first teaser trailer. I believe there's another trailer dropping either later in February, or it might be even in March. I'm not sure. We'll probably get a couple more before they actually release the season on April 14th, which I'm super excited for that as well. So this trailer starts off, and our first thing we see is Jon walking down the hallway, and he walks past his mother that we now know, Lyanna, and then there's a feather falling out of her hand. We see Sansa and Arya come into the picture, and they walk down the hallway. They pass the statue of Ned, they pass the statue of Lady Stark. There's just a whole bunch of things going on, and they see their own statues there, which in that crypt that they're in, that's an indication that someone's passed on. So very good information right off the bat, and it's kind of interesting because the hallway slowly freezes as they turn around and they draw their swords. So my initial impression is just kind of how the last season wrapped up. They're in Winterfell. This is going to deal with the defense of Winterfell. That's probably how this is going to open up. As we know, the White Walkers and the Night King are in fact coming down. We saw that battle where they took the dragon, and things were really starting to heat up, or cool off if you will. And it looks like it's going to be a great season. So my initial impressions when first looking at this, okay, so we start with Jon. He's walking down the hallway, he's got the torch. To me, the symbolism there is he's the torch bearer. He's the one that's got the bloodline. He's Targaryen and he's Stark. So we've got both bloodlines meeting, which leads me to believe that he is going to be the rightful ruler, him and Daenerys, that is. So he's kind of has the claim there. I think that's what the torch is symbolizing as he walks, and he is coming in alone, so I think that's important. He's not with the other Starks, he's not with Sansa, he's not with Arya, but they are united in some way. And then another thing we see, that feather that was in Lyanna's hand, that was actually the same feather that in the first season Robert Baratheon brought back and placed in her hand. It's some type of bird feather. I don't know if there's any symbolism there. It looked kind of exotic, interesting feather. So as he passes his mother's statue, and they're talking about, you get that clip where Lyanna and Ned were discussing like at his birth, you have to protect him. I think Jon's finally going to find out in this last season about his heritage, and that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So I think that feather was kind of like maybe the last secret, or the last part of information he didn't know, and it's, it falls to the ground, so it becomes, I don't know, almost common knowledge, and he kind of walks past it like it's something he's going to have to deal with. As the other ones walk in, I didn't notice too much about them. Obviously Sansa and Arya are separate and they're coming together in this, but I think the most interesting part of this trailer is when they meet up at the crossroads and then they walk towards their death masks, death statues, what have you. And from there we start to see the coldness creep in. That's obviously referencing to me the threat from the outside. They all turn when the coldness starts creeping into the crypt, and Jon and Arya draw their swords ready to fight. They step forward. Sansa, though, remains in the middle, and she is behind the other two. So Sansa, I don't believe, will have a direct role in fighting. She's going to kind of be in the background. She's going to be the defender of Winterfell, and I think that's important. I think she's assuming that role that the Starks normally had. They were the defenders, and then Arya and Jon both fighting together is interesting. As you know, they have a very special relationship dating back to the early seasons. I think that's going to be very important. We're going to see that relationship grow in this final season. So everyone there is facing death. We see Jon, Arya, and Sansa. Who is missing from this picture from the Stark children that still remain? Bran. Now, we might see something in a later trailer, but to me, the coldness creeping in. Bran's already in Winterfell. We know that. We saw him there. He discovered with Sam about the lineage of Jon. So I think potentially this might be a hint that Bran has some type of corruption possibly and a link with the Night King. And I think that's going to be a very important plot line to follow. He might not necessarily be the Night King, but he might have, you know, some corrupting influence where might be corrupted to join them, and then we'll have to have some interesting inner fighting there. We did not see his statue down there though, so they weren't making any type of premonition that he would die. I can't wait to see what the next trailer holds. We're gonna learn more information, and I can't wait for April to get here, guys. So just kind of a brief review of the trailer and my thoughts on what I saw. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this. Let me know if you like these type of videos so I can do more of them. I'll gladly do some reviews of the episodes and my like impressions after I watch them. So that's it for this one, guys. We'll catch you next time. Have a good night.